So it's obvious and evident to me that God's judgment is coming for the whole world. It's evident and obvious to me that God's judgment is coming for the whole world now. And nobody can stop it unless they repent. God lets you run on for a long time, and sooner or later, He cuts you down. He cuts you down because of their ignorance, arrogance, all this arrogance with all these old gods, all this arrogance. And I get it, it's like biological, like you're biologically this, you're biologically that. But at some point, it should have registered to you that what your family was doing, what you were doing was probably not sustainable. We're talking about sustainability. Do you want to sustain yourself? A lot of people are like, nope, don't want to sustain themselves. And I believe that is the reason why a lot of the harvest is falling away. I believe that's a large reason why I don't have the biggest following, but I have a potent following. I have a following of potent people who understand. When you look at the traffic on the road and you're stuck in traffic and you're just like, all these people are causing traffic. Do you imagine a world where the most nonsensical people just don't quite exist anymore and you can just drive freely because a majority of the world is somehow dealt with? Somehow dealt with. That's God's judgment. I think about this all the time when I'm in traffic. And I'm like, a lot of these people are steeped in sin. They don't need to be clogging up traffic. They don't need to be doing any of this. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people who are providing anything for any extraneous purpose, they don't have to be like, none of this actually has to be here. Like, it doesn't actually have to be a thing. Extraneous economy, extraneous influence. There's an influence of extraneous measure that just doesn't have to be there. And you wonder why all these people are committing such atrocities or they're like going crazy. Do you understand the concept of like people being quote unquote soulless? I imagine that a lot of these people that were just like around are actually quote unquote soulless. And then it goes back to the phenomenon of the mid 40s following the quote unquote death of the Romanov. All these demons were let into this world. These weird people did this weird thing. It's Joe Rogan, Aleister Crowley. I'm not saying like he should be damned to hell. He's seemingly becoming Christian because I feel like he's seemingly understanding that like God's real. L. Ron Hubbard, Miles Johnston, Jack Parsons, the dude from Age of Truth TV, Lucas Alexander, like these big players, these men did this thing back in the 40s who let in all these demons and they inhabit bodies of people who are just forfeiting that maybe weren't even real to begin with, but forfeiting. They're handing themselves over to an automaton like nature. An automaton like nature where they're just like doing whatever the F, for better or for worse. Like there is a better, and the better is the people that are just nice and normal. Like they're just nice and normal people. But there's a worse. There's a worse. There are people who are doing the most heinous freaking things behind closed doors that you can't even imagine. They're the ones clogging up traffic, right? And you're sitting in it like these people don't have to be here. And God will be the difference, and Jesus Christ will be the difference. I woke up and heard a riddle that was, if the Antichrist could Antichrist, how much Christ would the Antichrist? Because he can't Antichrist. I read this riddle in so many different ways that I'm like, some people will observe it differently. I'm observing it as If the Antichrist could Antichrist so much, how much Christ could the Antichrist? He can't. He can't. That's how I read it. He can't. The Antichrist can't do anything that is against Christ. He can't, because Christ under God is God. So when the Antichrist comes to do what he's going to do, he's doing it because there is an authority under God to do what he's doing. The Antichrist can't Antichrist much at all, if anything, maybe if anything. He can't do anything that is not under God's law. This is why you should have no fear. You should have no fear because God is in total control. You don't actually endure anything that God didn't allow. If the Antichrist could Antichrist, he wouldn't, dude. He wouldn't. And this is gonna be the funniest thing of all because people are gonna be like, "This world is so great." Meanwhile, they're doing the most heinous things. They're like the most ignorant, freaking dark, evil. Like you can't even imagine. Can you imagine what it is to be in God's eyes and see the heinous freaking crimes people do behind a screen, behind closed doors? Can you imagine what it is to be God, to allow people to run on for a long time, watching all the shit that they do and they're clogging traffic, right? Like they're clogging it, like they're they're trying to influence all the sons of Cain. Like they're the ones that are like trafficking kids, like they're the ones that are just working for an extraneous government, just performing extraneous freaking operations. Like you didn't need to do what you're doing. You're just doing it because you're just a cog. You're just like, I don't know. A lot of them are really good, but a lot of these people are not good, dude. They're not good. They do the weirdest shit behind closed doors. And you can't even imagine the weird shit that they're doing. But they're doing it. And a lot of them are not even real people. And they're taking up influence. Oh my god, can you imagine what it would be like to have influence and do the dumbest shit ever? Can you imagine the karma that you're bringing to yourself when you actually have influence, but you're doing the weirdest and darkest shit behind closed doors? Brian saying, full disclosure conference. Can you imagine what it's like to be under that amount of judgment from God when all these people think that you're somehow some kind of leader, but you are doing the weirdest, darkest, dumbest shit behind closed doors? Don't think that's not going unseen. Do these people think that their God is somehow God? I think they do. I think they do. I think they believe that they are protected, and they're not. And the irony is, they're not. Gaia is a feminine planet, and she hates you for what you do. She hates you. And she has a military of her own. She This planet has a military of its own that is above every military that you are aware of, that you think exists, that you any god that you think you serve. There's a god above all of it that you think that you serve, that your crimes are somehow going unseen. They're not. Everything is seen. There is a military above all these people who think that, like, oh, their military is the thing. The narrative is the thing. No, the true narrative is God's mercy holding back nukes and bombs. At some point, he's not going to hold them back. He's not going to hold back these nukes and bombs, dude. At some point, he's going to be like, it's gotten so bad with the judgment of the people in the areas that are about to fall. He's hold back so long. At some point, let the nukes fall where they may, let the bombs fall where they may, because these people were given ample time to figure themselves out. And they didn't do it. And they didn't do it. And they didn't do it. Look at Burning Man, this festival that's going on. It's like this festival has a history of natural disasters. Why would anybody in 2025 go to this thing? They have like an intense faith in God, want to have a good time, okay? all right, get your ass out there. And then like these people that are just testing God. It's like these people, a lot of them, it's not like they don't have faith in God. They're just testing God. And I believe myself to be like a judgment person that's like, you're just testing God. If you want to come against me, like this is why I walk so freely in the world, is because if you want to come against me, you're going to find faith in God. This is why these aren't even the worst people ever. If you come against me, if you try to do, because I'm so obedient, because I let myself be completely outside of the will of Satan, I only serve the will of God through Jesus Christ. And it's been that way for so long since I woke up, because I always hated my life. I hated my life. And then when I found salvation through Jesus Christ, I was like, "Oh, I feel like I'm finally starting to live." And when I finally started to live, I started to get my eyes open to child traffickers. And I'm like, "I'm going to go after child traffickers because that's what makes me happy." And that's how I was protected. I was protected because that's what made me happy, and that is what it means to be saved under God through Jesus Christ. Is I can do whatever I want because I am protected and saved under the will of Jesus Christ through God. I can do whatever I want. And anyone that tries to come against me, they will only just find faith in God. A prideful, arrogant nature of anyone who does anything different, they're going to find themselves in the worst position ever. Any dumb whore who thought that she was going to come against me was going to find herself in the worst position ever. You have the most arrogance, you have the most pride, you have the most insane mentality that is not sustainable. This is what it comes down to. It's not sustainable. These people are not sustainable. You are not sustainable at all. And anyone influenced by them, come away from her, my people. It says in Book of Revelation, come away from her, my people. You will go in the trash receptacle where you belong. It's space trash. You are nothing but trash. They have this amazing arrogance about who they serve, and it's not God through Jesus Christ. They have the most amazing arrogance I've ever like witnessed. And if they didn't come to God through coming against me, it was going to be the opposite, the most prideful nature that this world has ever seen. That is like, you just go in the trash receptacle. So, how much Christ could the Antichrist if the Antichrist could Antichrist? He can't. He will just take out the trash. That's all he's going to do. He's not going to be the worst person ever. He's just going to take out the freaking trash. A lot of people consider themselves to be Christians, but they hate me. That's insane. That's fucking insane, dude. A lot of New Agers didn't come to Christ, but they're nice, normal people. They'll come to Christ so fast because they were already primed to be good people. That's why. How much Christ could the Antichrist if the Antichrist could Antichrist? He can't. It's you. You're the trap. Like, you know what I mean? Not you, but like, I think I made my point. This could be interpreted in so many different ways. And it's funny because, like, it can be interpreted in so many different ways. But the only way I see it is God's will is the only will that can come. Like, if people die, they go to heaven. That's the only will God would have it. Like, you can't. There is no. So if even if you're enduring persecution, like just know that you can't. Like, have the faith in knowing that you can't. You can't actually endure persecution under God. You can't. If you do, it's because you're anti-Christ. So the irony of the antichrist is like, oh, these are my people. Probably maybe for a short period of time, maybe 3.5 years in Book of Revelations. I think it's like 3.5 years where it's a bit dicey. You can't actually endure persecution. You can't. You can't, but they will. Oh, but the other people will. They will. They will endure persecution. Hope I made my point. I think I made my point. Thanks for tuning in. We'll check you again really soon.